Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Uniquely Unqualified Podcast Take Two. One subject, easier for you to take in. We're going to go over this weekend's events revolving around peace talks between the United States, Israel, and Iran inside of Pakistan in Islamabad. Before we start going on about this, please like and subscribe. It helps me as I grow this channel. I'm watching everybody. I'm watching views go up. I'm watching subscriptions go up. It's really cool. I like the growth. So let's get into this. Essentially, talks fail. So good move by President Trump sending in Vance. Why is that a good move? Well, objectively, it gives Vance an opportunity to get his hands dirty. He is also very well known to be not really on board with this whole Iran conflict. He famously, said to the president that, he's not very enthusiastic about it. And so to have somebody like that, more sympathetic to the Iranian side, to be like, look, you guys, I never wanted this to begin with. You can hear my voice being recorded in the White House saying that I don't think we should do this. I'm here with you. I'm here to negotiate with you. But we have terms, and we must agree to these terms. Last week we read, per Al Jazeera, we read the supposed 10-point plan for peace given out by Iran. But it's not only J.D. Vance. Depending on which news outlet you're watching and listening to, there was a small envoy, and J.D. Vance was one of them. The other one of them was Steve Witkoff. I believe somewhat of a good actor and a solid guy. Here's the third rail, Jared Kushner. In Trump's first administration, he sent Jared Kushner because he gave him a position in the cabinet. Jared Kushner is Donald Trump's son-in-law. And then famously, there was a couple of long-form podcast discussions, interviews with Jared Kushner after the first Trump administration. And there was a lot of, the Abraham Accords that the first Trump administration sent Kushner into the Middle East with to create peace in the Middle East. Apparently, there was a lot of optimism in those Middle Eastern, Persian, Islamic, Arabic countries at that time. Well, anymore, it's possible that, Kushner could be something of a handler or a Mossad agent. These intelligence agencies play the long game. They're not actually, they don't really just kind of breeze in and out like a bad fart and stink the place up and execute folks. They run these long surveillance campaigns on people. They get into their families, their inner circles, they marry their daughters, etc. And it seems like Jared Kushner's probably one of those people. Here's why I believe one of the reasons that talks failed between there was no peace agreement. Ceasefire still stands, to my understanding. As of today, we sit here on Monday. Ceasefire still stands, but this is the entrance to the second week. So if a deal isn't reached by the end of this week, it's on, baby. Yeah, baby. So Jared Kushner, it was I believe this was via Fox News. Saw this on Saturday. I believe it was Saturday. It was before the talks were going to happen. Jared Kushner is believed to have initiated or not initiated, but kind of gave this meeting of peace, these peace talks, a shove in the direction of get people together by stating, and this is where the Trump administration just can't get out from in front of itself and can't stop tripping over its own feet. This situation is similar as it was with the Pam Bondi, Cash Patel thing, Epstein thing. Pam Bondi says on a hot mic in a coffee shop that she's got tens of thousands of horrible documents and videos. She says, they're on my desk. We've got a release of these blank folders that we'll give influencers and podcasters. And then Kash Patel turns around and says, no, we don't got nothing, bro. I don't got nothing on my desk, bro. Do you think, who would lie to you, bro? Would it be me? I would never lie to you. Do you think that if I had something like that on my desk, I would bring it to you? You best trust me, bro. I would absolutely bring it to you. Anyway, so this is a similar situation with Kushner and Witkoff and Vance. It seems like Kushner said to the Pakistanis or the Iranians, when it comes to one of the bullet points on the list of 10 things that Iran wants for peace, if they want to be able to have their nuclear program, enrich their nuclear program under peaceful conditions and for energy. I think I had mentioned something when we did that podcast. I think that I had said that I don't believe that we should be restricting any nation from any ability to provide its citizenry with cheap, reliable energy, of which nuclear is the best. It's the safest, it's the cleanest, it's the cheapest. For any of you activisms out there, you need to educate yourself further to nuclear energy. And I'm talking how far photons travel underwater. I'm talking even down to what color a hot nuclear core is. And I'll tell you, it isn't the color of this pen. So why would we say, no, you can't have an enrichment program so that you can make power plants, nuclear power for your country? Well, like I said previously, these goalposts really changed, and so it went from no nuclear bomb to no nuclear enrichment. And so that bullet point in Iran's thing, in Iran's 10-point plan was off of the table. You're coming with that, get it out of here. But the problem is Jared Kushner seemed to have said to the Iranians preemptively, certainly without talking to the president, his father-in-law, yes, we can negotiate with you about allowing you to have nuclear enrichment under peaceful conditions. Assuming under peaceful conditions means power, electricity. But because we've went and frickin' just rammed it up the cornhole with frickin' Iran, now we can't give them the opportunity or the trust to enrich any uranium, because now if they ever had a reason to come after the United States and Israel with the awesome power of nuclear weaponry, now they've got the reason, faux show. And here's another one. Nuclear, as far as like a bomb goes, that's all just talk for you folks. It's not fission that's on that's on the horizon. It's not. Fission is the separation of particles, right? Fusion is what is on the horizon. And so when Iran probably does want, now that I'm thinking about it, Iran probably does want and could potentially be trusted with a nuclear enrichment program for energy and peaceful purposes only, because they already know that, okay, fine, I won't make a nuclear bomb. I'll make a hydrogen bomb. I'll focus on fusion. It's way more powerful, way more energy coming in through. That's why, there's a whole bunch of, geeks and scientists out there that, wanted to, like, I've got a friend in the Navy who was in the Navy. He was a nuke in the Navy. He had to go to college. He had to know what the hell was going on with nuclear energy. And when you sit down and talk with him, he ain't too excited about nuclear energy because it's old news. It's 2026, folks, not 1976. We've got bigger, better fish to fry, way crazier technology, and nuclear weapons is not the biggest and the best you can get in 2026. Neither is nuclear energy. So, anyway, I think that you can trust Iran with a nuclear enrichment program. Jared Kushner went out there and preemptively said, yeah, sure, we could probably work with you on that just to get everybody to the table. Nobody discussed this with J.D. Vance, to my understanding. It's very similar with the Bondi and Patel thing about the Epstein files. The right hand ain't talking to the left. And now J.D. Vance goes in there, sits down, and kind of could potentially make the Trump administration, most certainly did. And again, if Kushner's Mossad, a handler of Trump, married to his daughter, playing the long game, it could be that, this is just, the very first step into drawing the United States back into the conflict instead of reaching a ceasefire, a peace deal, and the U.S. getting out of there. Which would be Kushner being a fucking snake in the Israeli government and saying, yeah, oh, I've already talked to him. You're good with that. We're good with that. And then J.D. Vance shows up and says, what the fuck did you tell them? No, absolutely not. And now Donald Trump is sitting there with a freaking, just this, well, fuck, what now do I do? It's coming at him from all angles. So it seems like Jared Kushner could have played a role. And people like this don't do anything by accident. So I don't think that this was an accidental move. But it looks like Jared Kushner played a potential role in fucking up these peace talks in Islamabad, Pakistan, between the U.S., Israel, and Iran as J.D. Vance arrives on scene to negotiate. So, more to come to you on that one. Uniquely Unqualified Podcast Take Two. Like and subscribe, and we will see you soon.